I apologize for this, but I need to bring you and ask you some questions about the day Fabio Sementilli was murdered.
Okay.
Bringing you to the weekend before the Monday he was killed on January 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
Do you specifically remember that weekend?
Well, we didn't see them that weekend because he was going to see Ernie, his friend Ernie, and they were going to come over. So I don't remember what we were doing, so we did not go over there that weekend.
Okay. Do you remember at all whether Fabio was taking any time off of work during this period?
I remember him telling me he was doing a colonoscopy. I think he told me the week before. I felt like it was that Monday he was going to do it, but he didn't do it. Maybe it was Monday or Tuesday, but I felt that he had a colonoscopy he had to do.
You believe that he was supposed to have a colonoscopy, he told you, on Monday?
Honestly, I'm not sure if it was Monday or Tuesday. I remember it was that week because I think I saw him the week before, and he said he was going to do it.
Okay. And do you know whether Fabio would normally be at work on a Monday or a weekday?
Yes, he would.
How do you know that, Ms. Obad?
Because we were really close, and so I'd know, like, hey, I'm gonna stay home today, or Monica would say, oh, come over for dinner on a Monday or something. It wasn't just the weekends we saw each other. Sometimes it could be during the week. So he usually was at work.
Did you have any reason to believe that Fabio, from your conversations with him, was planning ahead of time to take that Monday off of work and stay home?
I do not know that.
And Ms. Obad, did there come a time when you also made arrangements to have Jessica babysit for you either over that weekend or on Monday?
On Monday, for Monday.
Do you recall specifically when you made those arrangements?
I don't. Most likely I would have called her that Monday because all I was doing was I ran and got Valentine cards for my kids' preschool. So it wasn't like I had something planned. It was sort of a last minute, oh, I need to get some Valentine stuff. So it was not something I had thought about earlier. It wasn't anything specific place I had to be.
So you have a specific memory of that Monday, January 23rd, making arrangements with Jessica that were not pre-planned?
It would have been, I had many times called them casually, like, hey, Max is doing good. Will you come over and watch him for an hour or so? I have to run an errand. So that was the norm, that I would just call her the day of. It was very rare that I called her a week before or anything like that, unless I had to be somewhere specifically.
Do you have a specific memory of arranging for Jessica to come over by calling, say, Monica?
I do not.
Do you know how that day it was arranged that Jessica would come over?
I either called Jessica or I called the house phone, and I do not remember. I didn't text her because I looked at my text, so I hadn't texted her.
When you say you looked at your text, was this after Fabio was killed?
Yes.
And Ms. Obad, when you say that you have a memory of running errands to go get some cards, and we'll get to Jessica coming over, but do you have any specific memory of setting a specific time when you were going to do these errands?
I asked her to be there at 4, but I didn't give her a time when I was going to be done.
We left off with you describing the events on January 23rd, the day that 2017, the day that Fabio Sementilli was murdered. you were describing for us having Jessica Sementilli come over and babysit.
Correct.
Prior to Jessica coming over that day to babysit your child, at any point had you ever received any contact from Monica Sementilli asking anything to you about how long Jessica would be babysitting or how long you would be running errands?
No.
You indicated earlier that you had asked Jessica to come there at 4 o'clock.
Correct.
Do you remember, as you sit here today, what time she showed up?
Yes, I do. 3:50.
You specifically remember
I
her
do.
showing up at 3:50?
I do.
You were asked by the police and the prosecutors, I believe, to estimate it at the time close to when Fabio was killed, what time she showed up?
Yes.
Do you remember how long you were at your home after Jessica showed up before you left to run the errands?
I would say about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes max.
Okay. After Jessica arrived at your house, Miss O'Bad, was there ever a time that Monica Sementilli called you on the telephone about inquiring how long you would be out running the errands?
Not at all.
Was there ever a time, Miss O'Bad, that Monica texted? Were you frequent texters with Monica?
I don't think so.
Okay. Was there any time that day that Monica sent you a text asking you how long you would be
Not at all.
out running errands?
Not at all.
During the time you were out running errands that day, did Monica ever contact you in any way and ask you if you could delay Jessica coming back to the house?
No.
Did she ever ask you if you could estimate for her at all how long you would keep Jessica babysitting that day?
No.
Ms. O'Bad, could you tell us how you learned that Fabio had been killed?
Isabella called me. I was already driving home because I just went for one quick errand. I was already driving up Tampa when she called me. And we sort of live in between. They live on one side of Tampa and we sort of live on the other side. Bella called and said, get to my house. And I said, why? She goes, just get here. And then I asked again, why? And she said, Dad had a panic attack. Just get here. So I went straight to their house. And I was only a mile away.
Okay. You went straight to their house, meaning the Sementilli
Correct.
home. Do you remember what happened when you arrived at the home?
Yes.
Could you tell us about that?
I got on their street and there was, I think it was an ambulance, there was a fire truck, there was just a lot of commotion. And I pulled and I just ran inside the house through the garage. The garage door was open.
When you got into the house, do you recall ever hearing Monica yelling or screaming that somebody had killed Fabio?
Correct.
Tell us about that.
I walked in through the garage and the kitchen's right there, and I sort of walked through the kitchen and I saw some blood on the floor, and I went straight to the dining room, and Monica and Bella were sitting in the dining room facing the backyard, and there was people around, and so I went and I sat down next to them and said, what's going on? And at that time, I honestly thought Fab was still alive. I thought they were working on him, so I was sort of confused.
And what specifically do you recall Monica saying, if anything?
She said somebody killed him, they took the car. It was just, she didn't say complete sentences. It was just a lot of rambling and crying and shaking.
So I was going to ask you about this. Could you describe for us specifically what you saw in terms of Monica's demeanor when you were first at the house?
Hysterical.
And do you recall if she said anything else?
No. After I was there a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes, she said, "Go get Jessica," because Jessica was at my house.
So you think you were there how long
I don't think
before
I was.
she said this?
I don't think I was there more than 5 minutes.
Okay. And did you go get Jessica?
Yes.
Okay. And at some point, did you later come back and have Monica and the girls come to your house? Did you take them to your house?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Describe, if you can, when you came back. Do you recall?
I came back, I would say, within a half hour because Jessica left and I had my child, so I had to get the neighbor to watch my child. So I think I called my husband to come home from work, and then I went over there, and I didn't go in the house. I think at that point they had walked out of the house. They were asking them not to be in the house anymore. So I think I saw the girls on the driveway.
At some point, did you ever see Monica and the girls go after they were outside to a neighbor's home?
Yes, it got kind of cold that night. I went over to the neighbors and introduced myself and asked if Monica could have a tea or something warm. And then the lady was very nice and said, does she want to come inside? And I said, okay. And then I went and got the girls and Monica, and she was with, I think her name's Elise, and they all went into the house.
Did you go into the house?
I did very briefly.
Now, at any time, Miss Obad, during this period, did Monica ask you to contact Fabio's employer at any time?
I don't recall.
Did you, at any time during this period, contact Fabio's employer?
I didn't. I think my husband called Sal.
Okay. Did you know at this time where Fabio worked?
Yes.
How did you know that?
Because we were good friends, so I knew where he worked.
Okay. Had you gotten to know any of his coworkers, or?
I had just met Sal at Christmas Eve.
And that's Sal Maucheri?
Correct.
Okay. And at some point that evening, did you also attempt to leave a voicemail for Fabio's assistant,
yes.
Alicia?
Yes, I did. I did do that.
Tell us about that.
It was just a voicemail. I don't even remember leaving a message, or maybe I said call me, but I didn't give her any information.
Did Monica ask you to call Alicia?
I don't recall. I don't know why, but I feel like I had Alicia's number, and I don't remember why I had Alicia's number.
At the point you called Alicia, had Monica Sementilli ever at any time asked you to find out about life insurance?
No.
Do you recall during this period when Monica was outside or you were briefly over at the neighbor's house, what, if anything, Monica was doing or saying?
I really wasn't next to her. Elise was next to her, and I think Isabella or one of the girls were I wasn't right next to her, and I know she went in another room and spoke to Detective Parshall and his partner.
At some point, did you learn that Monica was being interviewed by the police that evening?
Yes.
How did you learn that?
I was there and I saw, he said, Detective Parshall said he needed to talk to her, and I said, do you want me to go? Or he goes, no, we need to talk to her alone. So he went with her.
What were you doing while Monica was speaking to the police?
I think I was outside or maybe near the girls. I'm not exactly sure.
Do you have a specific recollection of what the girls were doing during this time period?
They were in shock. I think Jessica had a friend that came by. They were just sort of in shock.
Did you observe either of the girls' demeanor during this period? You say they were in shock.
They were in shock.
Talk about Bella. Do you recall whether she was crying, whether she was...
Neither of them were crying. They were just, honestly, in shock. I think we all were just shocked. We didn't know how to react. I wasn't crying either because I was trying to take it in what was going on.
At some point, did you take Monica and Bella and Jessica to your home?
Correct.
Was your husband there at that point, or was it...
Yes.
So the four of you drove to the home? Before you left for your home, did there come a time where you got on the phone with Luigi Sementilli?
Yes. I got on the phone with Luigi at their house. Jessica was talking to Luigi on the phone on the driveway, and I think it got disconnected or something. He called back, and she was trying to explain to him, but I don't think she could really get what was going on either. So she handed me the phone.
So you have a specific recollection of Jessica handing you the phone?
Yes.
When you were outside and speaking to Luigi?
Correct.
And do you know how long you were on the phone with Luigi?
Very briefly. Maybe 2 minutes max, very briefly.
During that conversation with Luigi, Miss O'Bad, could you tell us what was said?
Yes. I said to Luigi, explain that your dad has been killed. We don't know anything else. We're not sure what's going on. He's in the backyard. And he was like, what? And I said, I can't tell you anything else. I don't know. I said, I know that he has a life insurance policy for you. You can continue to go to college. Because I knew he was doing his master's, I think, at that point.
How did you know that Fabio had a life insurance policy for Luigi?
Fabio told me.
And when did he tell you this?
I would say maybe 6 months to a year prior, because when we became parents, we got a trust and a will, and so we would talk to Fab because he hadn't done that yet. But he had a life insurance, and we hadn't done that yet. So we sort of swapped stories about what we needed to do and what he needed to do. So I knew, and I thought it was very interesting, because in California, you don't get a life insurance policy if you get a divorce. But he said he had one for his child. So I knew that, and I knew it was under 2, because he said to me something about it's under 2. So I knew that. And I knew it was just for Luigi when he got divorced. Fab told me that.
Had Monica ever at any time discussed with you a life insurance policy for Luigi?
Never.
Prior to getting on the phone with Luigi that night, did Monica Sementilli ever tell you to talk to Luigi about life insurance?
Never.
Did Monica ever mention that night anything about Luigi's studies or going to school?
She kept saying the word university, because I remember very specific, because I don't use that word university, I always say college. And she kept saying, he has to continue university, the girls have to go to university. She kept using that word university.
When did she say this?
That night outside.
Did she say anything else about university?
She just said, Luigi's going to be fine, he's going to be fine, his dad takes care of him, he's going to be fine.
Did you ever at any time, well, first of all, Ms. Obad, this conversation you had with Luigi Sementilli, do you have a specific memory of how long it lasted?
2 minutes, 3 minutes, it was so short.
Was there ever a time during that conversation you had with Luigi where you ever either heard from him or said to him anything about stock options?
Never.
Was there ever any time on that phone conversation on the evening Fabio was killed that you spoke to Luigi and discussed anything about giving Luigi money, or that Luigi would give Monica and the girls money from life insurance?
Never.
Would you remember something like that?
Absolutely.
If Luigi, Fabio's son, came into court and testified that you specifically spoke to him that evening about stock options, would that be accurate?
Absolutely not.
And if he testified that you specifically spoke to him about Luigi giving back money from life insurance to Monica or the girls, would that be accurate?
Absolutely not.
So what time do you believe you took took Monica and the girls back to your house with your husband that night?
It had to be after 9, 10. I just don't remember exactly. But it was late.
What happened when you got home? Were you with Monica that whole time?
Yes, pretty much. We came in, I think we got some water or something cold to drink, and Bella wanted to lay down, so she went in the guest room, and Monica wanted to just sit on the couch. And so Jessica sat on the couch next to her. And then she was just crying, and I remember I had to get Kleenex and stuff for her, and I was just sort of in the living room with her, or the family room.
Her Jessica or her Monica?
Monica and Jessica. Jessica actually went in the other room and made a phone call and called her godfather, I think. So then I think I was just sitting with Monica for a while.
Can you describe, do you have a specific memory
Absolutely.
of Monica?
I know exactly where she was sitting, in my living room, or my family room.
Okay. There's been testimony repeatedly by relatives of Fabio and some work friends that they didn't see real tears that evening. Do you specifically recall seeing Monica crying, let's say when you got home?
I don't at her house, but I do at my house when she was sitting on the couch, because I remember getting Kleenex, thinking, where's Kleenex? I got to get her Kleenex. I remember being panicked, like I have to find Kleenex.
Could you describe for us any other observations you made about what Monica physically was doing during this period you were observing her?
She wasn't saying much. I don't even remember complete sentences. She was just sitting there and like rocking and shaking, and she looked horrible. She was just pale, and Jessica was very worried about her, and Jessica was sitting very close to her, on and off. And Jessica was in the other room for a minute. It was very, she was in shock, upset, just looked distraught.
How long was it before you all went to sleep that night?
It was really late. I think it was, I don't even remember sleeping that night, but I remember, I think the detectives called us around 5 to come back
Okay.
to her house.
5 in the morning? Okay.